There was no celebration at the harbor of Athens. The chosen youths stood beside the ship, knowing it sailed toward Crete, and toward the labyrinth no one wanted to enter. This was not an invitation to adventure. It was a price that made a city fall silent. Inside that silence, Theseus stepped forward because he knew the danger would fall on others again. He chose to sail with them, gathering the fear scattered across many names into his own. When the ship left shore, Theseus could no longer live only for himself. When Theseus reached Crete, the danger became clearer. The labyrinth did not only trap people in darkness, it could leave even the living unable to find the way back. Ariadne saw that. Giving help to a stranger was more than mercy. It would push her toward danger as well. Still, she brought out the thread. One end would be fixed at the entrance, and the rest would follow Theseus inside. As long as it held, darkness could not erase direction completely.
Leave the thread at the entrance. Do not let it break.
If I return, this line will find you before I do.
Theseus accepted the thread, and the risk she could not speak aloud. As the doorway darkened before him, he understood that every step from here would belong to more than himself. Inside the labyrinth, there was no sky, and the walls offered no direction. With every step, the thread slipped through Theseus's hand, keeping the exit behind him. Then a heavy sound came from deeper within. He stopped and felt the line still pulling against his palm. In that moment, he truly could turn back. Going back might save him. Going forward might end the price. He did not follow the line back to the light. He tightened his grip and walked toward the sound. The next step would no longer be only about finding the exit. At last, the source of the sound pressed out of the shadows, the Minotaur. Inside the labyrinth, it was the shape fear took inside the maze. The thread could lead Theseus back, but it could not face the danger for him. He set his stance, refusing to let the darkness scatter him, and refusing to let the line leave his hand. The fight happened between wall and shadow. Impact, evasion, short breaths. The labyrinth swallowed them all until Theseus was still standing, and the threat no one wanted to face had fallen. For the first time, the labyrinth fell quiet. Theseus was still in the dark, but the direction of everything had changed. A path that had only led inward now held the possibility of return. But victory did not point to the exit. The labyrinth still had no sky, and the walls remained silent. Without the thread, Theseus might have left the danger behind and still left himself in the dark. He began to follow the line back. Every length of thread gathered into his hand carried Ariadne's choice with it. Every turn returned a little of the direction he might have lost. Only when the light of the entrance appeared again was the journey complete. Theseus brought back more than his own life. He brought back the possibility that the price forced upon Athens could finally stop. So the victory inside the labyrinth never belongs to one name alone. Theseus entered the dark, and Ariadne placed the way back in his hands. Without either choice, the labyrinth would not have opened. This film follows the labyrinth narrative preserved in the Epitome associated with Apollodorus. The Athenian youths are sent to Crete. Ariadne helps Theseus. He enters the labyrinth, defeats the Minotaur, and finds his way back by the thread. What happens to Ariadne after leaving Crete is told in more than one way in classical tradition. Some versions connect her later story with Dionysus. Later rationalizing accounts also treat the Minotaur as a human figure named Taurus. Those variants deserve to be acknowledged, but not blended into one answer. For this film, Ariadne's later fate remains source disclosure, while the main story closes with the labyrinth, the thread, and the return they make possible together.